Do you often have a hard time letting go? Do you put pressure on yourself and others to get what you want in life? Do you often feel disappointed or frustrated because people, situations, or circumstances don't meet your expectations? Do you often ruminate over the past, whether it's past relationships, work experiences, or people who have hurt you, or mistakes you've made? If your answer to any of these questions is yes, then you may be attached. And I believe that attachment is the root of all suffering. When we cling to people, ideas, or belief that no longer serve us, when we are attached to our past or even our present identities, and when we expect things to happen in a certain way, we block our channel to our happiness. We prevent ourselves from becoming our highest version. Anthony de Mello said, "You must choose between your attachment and happiness. You cannot have both." And think about it on an energetic level. When you're overly focused and attached to having what you want, when you cling to what someone has said to you or the mistakes you've made, you lose sight of everything else. All your energy is directed towards these thoughts, people, and situations. And as a result, you often end up suffering, feeling disappointed, sad, or frustrated. And this is when we finally let go, when we finally detach, that everything that we want and more happens. When we detach, we reclaim our energy. All this energy we've been directing towards others and situations come back to us. And we are finally in a position of power and abundance where we attract. So how do we do that? How can you let go, detach, and give yourself the opportunity to receive more than you can ever imagine in your life? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you my step-by-step method to practice detachment so you can finally break free from controlling outcomes and open yourself to trust and freedom. Hi, my name is Noemi and I help people create a life they fall in love with every day by tapping into their intuition, creative power, and higher self. If this is something that resonates with you, hit the subscribe button. So when we're attached to something or someone, it's because somehow we believe that this person or this situation is going to help us feel a certain way. For example, if you're attached to the idea of getting a particular job, this is this job or nothing else. You want it, you dream about it, and it's on your mind constantly. It means that you believe somehow that you need this job to feel a certain way. And it could be happy, validated, or proud, perhaps. And the same applies to relationships. If you're attached, for example, to your ex, it means that somehow you believe that once you're back with him or her, you will finally feel loved, complete, or appreciated. And it's going to be firework in your life. Or when you want people to act a certain way, it might be because you believe their behavior is essential to your sense of peace and happiness or self-worth. So when they don't act how you expect, you feel let down because you believe you needed them to act this way to feel good. And I know that for me, I was attached to how people perceived me for a very long time. So I was always trying to control how I spoke, how I looked, what I posted, and what I shared. And it was an inner nightmare because I wanted people to appreciate me so I could feel validated. So anytime that you have expectations, you're giving your control away. Because the situation, the person, or what happens next will determine the way you feel. And what you're saying to yourself and the universe is, I'm not enough as I am already. I'm not complete by myself because I need this to feel a certain way. So you send out an energy of lack rather than love. And when we are detached, we are able to separate how we feel from the outcome and release expectations. So for someone who is attached, the inner dialogue looks like this. I'm going to send this person a message, and how this person responds will determine the way I feel. And for someone who is detached, the inner dialogue looks like this. I'm going to send him or her a message, and how he or she responds is completely up to him or her. So attachment is conditional, and there is a masculine energy connected to it. I'm going to do that to get this. Detachment is unconditional, and it comes from a feminine energy. I did this, and now I'm letting go. I'm taking a step back. The universe is taking care of the details. And there is a balance between doing, we've taken action, and receiving. Now we can rest. So how do we go from attachment to detachment? Well, the first step is awareness, being aware of where you're attached to situation or people. So what is it that you're trying to control? And is it a recurring pattern in your life? If you're not sure about this, observe your triggers and how certain situations or people make you feel. Do you often feel anxious, jealous, angry, fearful? Do you experience any resentment from your past? These emotions are signs that you're attached to something or someone. And if you can't let this attachment go, it's because you're gaining something from it. Otherwise, you would have let it go. It gives you something that is waiting to be developed inside of you. So what is your attachment bringing you? What meaning do you give to your attachments? Maybe controlling the outcome of getting that promotion at work fulfills your need for certainty or security. If I get this promotion, it means I'm secure. Maybe wanting so badly to buy a house in a particular city gives you a feeling of stability or the idea of a perfect life you've been striving for. If I live there, it means I've succeeded in my life. Maybe expecting a reply from the person you like brings you a sense of self-worth. If they reply, it means I'm good enough. Maybe checking your husband's phone gives you a sense of security and safety. I'm checking his phone so I can make sure he is faithful to me, so I can feel good about myself. I know that for me, I was very attached to the image I was presenting to others because it gave me a sense of validation and acceptance. So detaching from this image and changing would have made me feel lost and insecure because I will have lost this sense of acceptance in my life. And my inner dialogue was, if I change, I lose my friends and the people around me, and I'll be alone. So think about this. What does holding onto this relationship that no longer serves you is bringing you? What does controlling what your boyfriend or your girlfriend is doing bring you? What does making sure everyone meets your expectation do for you? What is the story you're telling yourself? What are your emotional needs? Sometimes we repeat the same patterns from our childhood because they bring us a lifestyle we've known since we were children. And detachment happens when we start facing these patterns and when we ask ourselves, what needs to be released to detach? What am I not accepting? What do I need to expand that is already within me? So I encourage you to write down the thoughts, the beliefs, and emotions that need to be released to let go of your attachments. Maybe you need to release some fears around showing up for yourself and speaking your truth so you can finally detach from what people are going to think about you. Maybe you need to release the hurt or sadness you felt from your last breakup or what happened in your childhood so you can detach from the fear of being cheated on. Maybe you need to release the anger or resentment you feel towards a friend who betrayed you so you can detach from the heavy feeling of your past and open yourself up to a new story. Not so long ago, I realized that I was attached to the idea of changing someone very close to my heart. And I wanted her to release trapped emotions that were preventing her from fully enjoying life and being happy. And I kept telling her, you should do this and you should do that. I was sending her tools and resources, but I could see she was resisting the idea. She didn't really want to change. And the truth is that you can help or change people who don't want to change. But this is particularly hard when it comes to people you love and care about deeply. So I realized that I was attached to the idea of helping her change. I was expecting her to change because her changing was providing me with a sense of love and belonging. And my inner dialogue was, if she changes, it means that she will always be here with me. I will never be alone. And if she doesn't change, it means that I will end up being alone. And when I realized that I was attached to this person and that I wanted her to change so I wouldn't end up alone, I knew it was time to detach. And what needed to be released was a fear of being alone. What needed to be developed and expanded within me was trust, a sense of belonging within myself, and a sense of connection to a higher power. An inner knowing that whatever happens, I will be okay. So think about the story you're telling yourself when it comes to controlling a situation or someone. You can start your sentence like this. If I have this, it means that. If I don't have this, it means that. A friend of mine wanted to receive an award for her spa, and she had been working super hard to get this award, and she wouldn't let it go. Her inner dialogue was, if I get this award, I will finally be recognized for what I do. I will get more clients and I will be fully booked. So what she did is that she developed her sense of self-worth, of self-validation and self-worth, and her dialogue became, I love what I do and I do it with joy. If I get this award, it's great, but if I don't, that's okay too. I will continue loving what I do. I know my worth and the value of my work. I've received plenty of great feedbacks from my clients. And guess what? She got the award. So when we detach from the story we've created in our mind and from our emotions. And to do that, it's necessary to process them. Some tools that can help you process your emotions at home is journaling, meditation, breathing exercises, writing forgiveness letters to yourself or someone who hurt you. I will do another video in the next coming weeks with practices that help me release trapped emotions. So once you release what needs to be released, you've created space. And this space can be filled with love, joy, trust, acceptance, whatever feelings you're looking for by controlling the outcome. And by expanding and cultivating these emotions, you're creating trust within yourself that helps you detach further. So let's go back to my example of a job that you want. This is going to bring you maybe security, safety, and stability. So a great question that you can ask yourself is, how can I cultivate a sense of stability and security in my everyday life? Maybe you can do this by implementing daily morning rituals or grounding more often. Maybe you can start investing or saving money. What would make you feel more secure and stable in your everyday life? Now, let's take the example of a relationship. You want so badly to be in a love relationship because this is going to bring you love, comfort, and passion. So how can you cultivate a sense of love, comfort, and passion in your everyday life? Maybe you can increase your time of self-care. Maybe you can dedicate more time to yourself every day. Maybe you can take yourself on dates. Another way to detach from the outcome is to acknowledge and remind yourself what is in your control and what is not. I know that for me, my attachment shows up when I feel frustrated and impatient. I was recording this video actually yesterday and my neighbor's dog wouldn't stop barking. I kept stopping the recording because of the dog. And so each time I was recording, the dog was barking. And obviously this was completely out of my control and my neighbors wasn't at home. So only myself was impacted by this situation. And then I realized that I was attached to the idea of recording this video yesterday. It had to be yesterday because this was in my plan. I've scheduled it. It was on my agenda. So it has to be yesterday. The same thing happens on the highway sometimes when you're stuck in traffic. You want to go home so badly after a day of work. You've envisioned your perfect evening in your mind. You're going to take a hot shower. You're going to eat a great meal. You're going to spend time with your friends, alone or with family. And then you get in your car and you hit traffic. And instead of going home in 30 minutes, it takes you like 2 hours. And once again, the traffic is not in your control. So getting mad about it will only hurt you. So my way of detaching when something like this happens is to repeat sentences to myself that I've transformed into belief, which over time became mantras. And these are, if it happens this way, it's because something better is coming for me. This helps transform frustration into optimism. And if this happens today, being stuck in traffic, being late to an important day or meeting, it had to happen for me to learn something or because it's helping me move toward my path. Something else I like also to remind myself is rejection is divine protection. If there is something I'm not having, it is not meant for me. And you can create your own version and have like 2 or 3 sentences you tell yourself when you feel that your emotions are getting in the way. And these thoughts are going to create trust and faith within you. Something else that also helped me is deepening my connection to God and my spiritual guides. This helped me gain trust, have faith, and accept things and people the way they are. I believe that the universe, God, or however you want to call it, always give you what you need, not what you want. So you can grow and ascend in your life. When I let go or when I don't get what I want, I always tell myself that it's because something even better is coming. To finish, I also want to share with you my 5 steps that I practice to detach from people and situation. And those are practices that I think about and that I do regularly, weekly. The first one is taking responsibility for yourself and the life that you've created. The first step to detachment is realizing that you've attracted the situations or people you're attached to into your life. Nobody else is responsible for your happiness. Step 2, raise your self-worth. Whatever you're looking for into someone else is already inside of you, waiting patiently to expand. Practice self-love and develop a healthy sense of self-worth. When you value yourself, you realize that you don't need external validation to feel good about yourself. You will become more secure in who you are, and your need for attachment will naturally decrease. Step 4, practice mindfulness. Develop mindfulness practices. Becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions will allow you to observe them without judgment and practice compassion with yourself. And step 5, trust the universe and the timing of your life. Let go of the need to control every aspect of your journey. Understand that everything happens for a reason, and sometimes detachment is necessary for your growth. Surrender to what is, because when you surrender to the present moment, you accept things as they are without resistance. And when you surrender, you create space for new possibilities and abundance to flow in your life.